Reinier de Ridder quit on the stool in his main event fight against Brendan Allen. Was it a smart decision? Was it a stupid, bad decision that he will regret? How it will affect his future? Is he a quitter? All of those questions answered in this video. Hello and welcome to Bloodsport MMA.
Assalamu alaikum.
If you would have bought stock of Reinier de Ridder, how you say his name in Dutch, as far as I know, you could have had an amazing investment if you would have bought it a year ago when he first did his UFC debut against Mershard, if I remember right. And you definitely would have experienced an insane drop if you would have bought the stock before the Brendan Allen fight, because he was on a high run. He was beating everyone. He was beating Robert Whittaker. A win against Robert Whittaker is so valuable. I mean, normally when you beat Robert Whittaker, you do not even think about fighting someone named Brendan Allen. Like, with all due respect to Brendan Allen, he's normally not a guy that comes to your mind if you just beat Robert Whittaker. He was scheduled to fight Fluffy Hernandez. Winner of that could have potentially gotten a title shot. Of course, there's still Nassourdine Imavov, but they would definitely have been in the title picture. But then Fluffy got injured, so RDR, Reinier de Ridder, faced Brendan Allen, who stepped in on 4 weeks' notice, something like that. So he had a training camp, but not a long one. Reinier definitely had the advantage in the side of being prepared, physically at least, right? Or should have. Now, the fight ended though in a way that just suggests otherwise, because yeah, Reinier had a phenomenal first round, dominated Brendan Allen, attempted submissions, all of that, but after that, everything went more or less downhill. His takedown somehow worked, but he got reversed quite a lot and all of that. But what we tried to get to is between rounds 4 and 5. He went back to the stool, he looked visibly exhausted, which is quite normal though if you have a 5-round main event, right? But yeah, he went to the stool and the corner asked him if he's okay. I think he said yes. And then the corner asked him, "Are you sure?" And he said no. And then they asked him, and I'm paraphrasing here, if he can continue. And I think he was just basically saying, "No, I can't continue," in a way. And the coach like asked him again, like, "You sure you can you continue?" and all that, because of course, as a coach, you want to like make sure that he for sure cannot continue. At the end of the day, he quit on the stool. Of course, the corner stopped the fight, but the corner explicitly asked him if he wants to continue, and he did not want to continue, so he quit on the stool, which rewarded Brendan Allen a TKO win. And now there's two sides to this. It's a double-edged sword, because on one side, it hurts you a lot, like your brand is hurt like crazy, because so many people kind of jumped on the RDR train, and now nearly everyone jumped off, because one thing that MMA fans do not like is quitters. He will always have that attached to his name now. Hey, you were a quitter. Just like Charles Oliveira, even though he's the most beloved guy, he will always have that, hey, you're a quitter next to his name, even though that was thousands of years ago when he showed a lot of times now that he isn't a quitter, at least anymore. But Reinier now will be labeled as a quitter forever. He will have mean DMs forever. And yeah, that will stick. Like, quitting on the stool with no visible injury or something, just, of course, that's just what we see. That you're tired is kind of weak. We gotta be honest. Like, of course, it takes toughness to even go in there in the first place, 100%, all the respect in the world, but it kind of shows you that you are a martial artist and not a fighter if you quit on the stool. Like, there are certain guys that are real fighters, real bred fighters that would never even think about quitting, especially not because they are tired. Of course, there's a saying, being tired makes cowards out of all of us, but still, like, I remember Checo Hermansson once broke his rib in between rounds, could barely breathe anymore, and still went out there and finished the fight. Whilst Reinier de Ridder was sitting there on the stool and he was not dying or something, he was just breathing heavy, like, yeah. And that just shows you that he probably did not prepare the way he should have prepared. Because if you are perfectly prepared, you should be able to sustain that pace for 5 rounds. It's not like they had the craziest slugfest and just threw overhands at each other for 5 minutes around. right? They had a lot of grappling exchanges, which is his bread and butter and all of that. So it's really a bad look to be tired that you have to quit, especially if you quit between rounds 4 and 5. And talking about the negative side of it, the stupid side of it, it hurts his brand a lot with the UFC as well. The UFC does not like people that do stuff like that. They do not. I remember the last guy that I remember quitting on the stool where his corner asked him, do you want to continue? And he said no, got cut. Of course, he was not from the type of stardom like Reinier de Ridder was, probably on a 1 or 2 fight losing streak already or whatever, but he got cut immediately. Like, the UFC does not like stuff like that.
If you don't know, now you know.
I can guarantee you that his path back to a title fight, because if he would have won that fight in spectacular fashion, you probably would have fought for the title next. His path to a title fight will be very long now. He gets thrown back a lot in the queue with that. If he does not come out with a crazy reason why he quit, he will be thrown back a lot, and the UFC will, not really reward him for that. I can guarantee you that much. And yeah, it's not good for your brand, for your stock, and for your standing with the UFC and the fans. Now, if you want to see the positive side of the sword, you could say, hey, it's better for his longevity. He's already not the youngest anymore. He had a lot of fights now in this calendar year. I think 4 fights in that one calendar year that he's with the UFC, or at least that 1 year time span. He started somewhere at the end of 2024. He had a lot of fights, so already a lot of wear and tear. Got knocked down against Whitaker as well and all of that. And if he would have went out there in the 5th round, chances that he would have gotten knocked out, because once you're that exhausted, you get knocked out much easier and all of that, are pretty high. So he kind of saved himself from getting finished. So he will recover faster. He will be able to be in the cage again quite soon, actually. And if he would have got knocked out, of course, there is the concussion protocol and all of that, and he would have had to had a longer time off. So in that regard, on the longevity and health regard, of course, it's a smart idea, of course. Especially if you yourself sitting on a stool believe, hey, I have no way to win that fight right now. I'm too exhausted. There's no way I can win the fight. There's no positives in continuing to fight. Of course, a real fighter would say, I'll rather get knocked out than ever quitting. Like, quitting hurts me more than being knocked out. But at the end of the day, his decision was the smarter decision to save your brain, to be back quicker and right the wrongs quicker. Sorry guys, kind of dry in here. But yeah, that's a positive side. So you can always, you can take both sides of the sword and kind of apply it however you want it. But overall, of course, it's not a good look. It's not good for him. And it will definitely lose him a lot of stardom, a lot of fans that loved to tune into his fights, because he beats Bo Nickel and all of that will now not tune in anymore and root against him. I can guarantee you that. UFC fans are very petty. But this is the breakdown. I do think that to answer the question, he is a quitter, yes, because I do think that he is a martial artist and not a fighter to his core. Like, he's not a guy that's born to fight. That's just my assessment from what I've seen, because I can guarantee you a guy like Mike Bisping or someone would have never quit if he's tired. Never. That wouldn't even have crossed their minds. So yeah, he has a quitter inside of him. Most of us do, but he definitely has a quitter inside of him, and he either has to prepare much better for his fight next time, and also address the quitter inside of him. Those are 2 things that he has to address if he wants to have a successful rest of his career. But this is my breakdown of this whole situation. What your opinion in the comments. You guys like this video, subscribe to the channel, would appreciate that. Check out my merch, bloodsport.net, or by free shipping with the code free. Check it out, you guys. Check out my Instagram videos, all the good stuff. Links in the bio. Check it out. Stay bloody. Until the next one. Bye-bye. Bloodsport out.